Hey my loves, welcome back to my channel. This is Angel from Simply Angel Tia. Today I'm coming to you guys with a quick tutorial on how to do these face scrubbies. They're very simple to make. You just have to be able to do like this round pattern here. And I've already done coasters. I think I did a Christmas coasters a couple of weeks ago using this exact same pattern. So it's something that you can do if you're a beginner. It's something you can do if you're intermediate to advanced crocheter, especially if you just want to kind of whip something up quickly as presents. So with Christmas just a week away, I decided last night that this will make really nice gifts for some of my friends, and so I sat down and I spent 3 hours to get this started and to get this done. So these are 100% cotton, and this yarn is from Sugar and Cream, all these four. And I decided to do cotton because if it's gifts, it's probably best to use cotton. Then you don't have to give your people, whoever you're gifting this to, too many instructions on how to clean acrylic. And also, if you have acrylic laying around and you don't have any cotton, that will do as well. But for me, I chose to do them in this yarn that I had laying around that is 100% cotton from Sugar and Cream. So before we continue, I just wanted to remind you guys to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. If you're new to my channel, welcome and thank you for joining my fun crochet family. And so we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so before we get started, these are the items you've been needing for this project. I'm using this Sugar and Cream yarn. It's called Love. It's 100% cotton, and which is good because we're making face scrubbies, and this is going to be helpful to have cotton in terms of just easy to clean and things like that. And it's about 2 ounces, so this yarn here is not too big. I'll put all the information about this in the description box. This is the hook I will be using. It's a 5mm crochet hook. They're recommending a 4.5, but I just up it to 5 because I enjoy using a 5mm crochet hook. And you will also need your scissors to cut your strands and your yarn at the end. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we will be doing to get this project started is we're going to do a magic circle. And to do that, this is how I do it. So I'll take my crochet hook. I'm holding this gap right here. So you can see I have the X that I'm holding with my thumb, and I have the loop, and I'll put my crochet hook in that loop. I will yarn over, okay, and this is pretty much my magic circle right there. While I hold the circle open, we're going to do a chain of 2. So 1, 2, and then in the magic circle we're going to do 11 double crochets. So we're going to yarn over, go into the magic circle, do a double crochet. That's 1, and you're going to do that 11 times, and it will make it 12 with the chain 2 that we just created at the beginning of this project here. So this chain 2 here it actually counts as 1, and then plus 11 double crochets that you're doing into the magic circle. That will give you 12 total. And for this project, you don't have to do 12 double crochets in this hole here. You could go for I don't know, 10, you could go for 12, you could go for 14. Just remember that if you do 10, your work will be a little bit on the smaller side. If you do, for example, 14, your work will be more on the larger side. And so 12 is usually what you will see a lot of people doing, is they'll go for a chain of 12 double crochets in this magic circle. So just count here so that I don't do too much. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right on. Okay, so now that I have my 12 double crochets, and keep in mind the chain 2 is 1, and then I did 11 more, I have 12. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these the yarn hanging down here. I will pull it a tiny bit just to close the circle here. Okay, and then I will go ahead and connect this end here so that we don't have a gap here anymore. And to do that, I'm going to do a slip knot on top, a slip stitch, not knot, on top of the have the two chains that we did here. So just write the first one here. I'm going to go into it and do a slip stitch just like that. So as you can see, we just closed it off, and then I'm going to do a chain 2, and in that very same gap here where we did our slip stitch, I'm going to do a double crochet in that gap just like that. And then in the next, I'm going to do 2 double crochets in the same stitch just like so. Right, so and on the next stitch here, I'm going to do 2 double crochets in the same stitch just like that. And you can tell what I'm doing here. So in every single stitch all across until this very last stitch here, you're going to do the exact same thing, which is doing 2 double crochets in each stitch until you get to the end. And because we're doubling the number of stitches, you're going to end up with double the amount of stitches. So you're going to have 24 double stitches, 24 stitches at the end of this row 2. So go ahead and complete that, and then I'll show you what to do in the next step. Okay, so I have one more stitch to go here, so I'm just stopping here so I can show you guys that there's actually a final stitch to do your 2 double crochets in that, and it's a little bit tight, but you're gonna need to go into that space there twice just like that. Okay, so this is the point where you should count your stitches to make sure you have 24, because we're doubling the 12 that we started with in the first row. And if you have 24, go ahead and proceed to the next step. If you have less, then go back and trace your steps and see where you may have done 1 stitch in one stitch instead of 2 stitches in 1 stitch. If you have 24, then the next step we will go into, to connect this section here, you're going to do a slip stitch right on top of the chain 2 that we did from the previous row, and you're going to do a slip stitch there, so that closes. And for row 3, we're going to do a chain 2, and I really like that this color is it's multicolored like this, and it comes like that. So as you can see, it actually creates a nice design with having the white and the pink and the purple. Okay, so after you do your chain 2, you're going to do a double crochet in that same stitch. So just right there, you're going to do a double crochet, and then you're going to move on to the next stitch and do 1 double crochet, and then in the next stitch, which is on top of the double crochet we did earlier, 2 double crochets, you're going to do 2 double crochets there as well. So you're going to do 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and then in the next stitch here, you're going to do 1 double crochet, and then you move on to the next stitch, you're going to do 2 double crochets in that stitch. So again, you see what we're doing here. So this very first one we did our chain 2, we had 1 more double crochet there, so it's a 2 double crochet in 1 stitch, and then we did 1 double crochet in 1 stitch, and then 2 double crochets in 1 stitch, 1 double crochet in 1 stitch, 2 double crochets in 1 stitch. So you're going to continue with that pattern all the way until you get to this end again. And when you get there, we're going to do our 4th row, which is also our final row, because these face scrubbies are not going to be too large. They're probably larger than your average, but I'm doing them just a tiny bit larger because the one pet peeve I have is when a scrub is so small I can barely hold it with my hand. So I'm making it so that they're just the right size. So go ahead and do that when you get right here. Come back to the video and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so we are at the end of this 3rd row. So like I did in the previous row, there's 1 more stitch to go into here. So we're going to go ahead and do 1 double crochet in that final stitch. Okay, like that, and then we're going to go ahead and do a slip stitch on top of the chain 2 that we did earlier in the previous row, just like that. Okay, so that's how your scrubby should look like. You will see that this is probably enough of a size for scrubby, but like I said, I do a little bit bigger, so we're going to do a 4th and final row. So we're going to start off by doing a chain of 2, and then in that very stitch we're going to do a double crochet. Just like that. And in this next stitch we're going to do 1 double crochet. In the next stitch we're doing 1 double crochet. And then in this next stitch here, as you can see now, it is a row of 2 double crochets in 1 stitch. So we're going to do 2 double crochets in that 1 stitch here. So 1 and 2. And then in the next 2 stitches we're going to be doing 1 double crochet in each stitch. 1, 2. And then in this next stitch, as you can see again, this line here, this is a line of 2 double crochets in the same stitch, so you're going to do 2 double crochets in that stitch here. Okay, so you're going to continue to do this pattern all the way around your circle until you get to here. So when you get here, come back and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so as you can see here, that is pretty much almost the end of our 4th and final row, and I have 2 more stitches to go. So I just did my 2 double crochets in this stitch here, and so the next 2 stitches are going to be double crochet, 1 double crochet in each of the 2 remaining stitches, just like that. Okay, so that's the end there, and then we're going to slip stitch to the top of the chain 2 that we did in this row. There you go. So this is pretty much how big I want my face scrubby to be. As you can see here, that's the size I'm looking for. So I believe this is about 4.5 inches, about 4.5 inches or so, or 4 inches. Now you could have ended, like I said, in the 3rd row, but and that just makes it a little bit of a smaller, but I like this size because it's enough to hold firmly to be able to clean my face. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create kind of like a hanging chain. So I'm going to do a chain of 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'm going to slip stitch right in the same base, right in that same stitch where the chain is coming from. I'm going to do a slip stitch here. See, there you go, like that. And so I'm going to have a hanging chain here like this, so I can hang my scrubby, or whoever I gift these scrubbies to is going to be able to hang it. And then we're going to go ahead and cut this off. So we're going to cut the yarn right there because we're pretty much done. And then I'm going to do a slip knot right here just to fasten it a little bit more, just like that. Okay, so I have a place to be able to hang it. If you wash it and you have like hooks to hang it in the bathroom, you can hold, or you can hang this. And now what I'm gonna do, let me put my hook away. What I'm gonna do is, if you're the type of crochet who wants to wave in your ends, you would have cut this yarn a little bit longer and then insert this into your darning needle and then weave it in. But I don't weave things in, so what I will do is I will just do a knot here, or at least majority of the time I don't like to weave things in. It just takes too much time, and it's not my favorite thing to do. So after you do a knot there, I just cut it off, and what I do is I just use my nail to kind of tuck in whatever little chain or whatever little yarn that is sticking out there like that. So as you can see, you don't see anything, and on this side you don't see anything like that. And then we still have this one here. You can pull it tight, and this was just the one that we used to start our magic circle. And then I'm going to do the same thing, which is just kind of knot it nice and tight. I will do twice on this side because I want it to not come apart, just like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing, which is cut it off. Oops, right there. And then I'm going to use my nail to tuck that tail in like that. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So this is my little scrubby here. I love this combo of colors like this, and I love that the yarn came like that, so I didn't have to do much to change colors or anything like that. And since these are Christmas gifts, I think this makes a beautiful color like that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So this is completed here. These are the other 3 that I did off camera. As you can see here, I wanted to do the sets of 4, and I did the other 3 off camera. I showed you guys how to do this, and then of course you already know that I did 4 sets all together for gifts, and here they are. Okay, so you can go ahead and wrap these up in a nice bow, or you can get like a nice material bag to put these in, like a cloth bag to put these in, and you can give them to your friends for Christmas. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, like I said, if you have not subscribed yet, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, like, comment, share the video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Ciao ciao.